about 12 minutes away from the top of the hour and scheduled first pitch here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark, so we'll give you the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Greenville Flyboys. Greenville entering this game at 11-6 on the season after taking 2 of 3 against the Kingsport Axemen earlier this week. The Flyboys, managed by Jack Wilson, line up like this. Micah Jordan is in center field leading off tonight. Tyler Inge at shortstop bats second. Ezra McNaughton, the first baseman, bats third. Lane Akers is the designated hitter. He bats cleanup. Dylan Jackson is the Flyboys catcher. He bats fifth. Jace Patton is back in the lineup after a bit of an absence. He's playing second base and batting sixth. Reed Hare is the right fielder. He bats seventh. Cameron Kim at third base moves down a little bit in the lineup. He's batting eighth. And Grant Hunter bats ninth. He's in left field. And for the Johnson City Doughboys, they enter this game at 9-8 on the season after a 2-game split against the Bristol State Liners. Johnson City, managed by Dave Anderson. The Doughboys line up like this. Logan Fife is the second baseman. He leads off. Logan Dunn, the left fielder, bats second. Paris Pridgeon, the center fielder, bats third. Jose Fernandez, the designated hitter, bats cleanup. Trey Majette, the right fielder, bats fifth. Camden Kaufman is the third baseman. He bats sixth for Johnson City. Jackson Jones, the first baseman, bats seventh. Ryan Jones, the catcher, bats eighth. And Willie Hurt, the shortstop, bats ninth. The starting pitching matchup here in Johnson City. First, for the host, the Johnson City Doughboys, they'll go with Ashton Alston, a 6'6" right-hander out of the University of Alabama by way of Gallatin, Tennessee. He's pitched 5 2/3 innings, allowing 10 runs on 7 hits, walking 9, and striking out 5. So we'll see if the Flyboys look to be a little bit patient against the right-hander out of Tuscaloosa. That is an ERA at near 16, but a small sample size. Maybe Alston rights the ship here tonight, although hopefully for the Flyboys, that's not the case. Greenville will go with Jace Smith. Smith, the right-hander out of Grand Canyon University. He has been fantastic so far this season. 9 1/3 innings pitched, an unearned run, no earned runs allowed on 6 hits, just 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts for Jace Smith. He's been phenomenal for the Flyboys. Really, their pitching staff as a whole has been great over these last few games. Kingsport entered Pioneer Park averaging over 7 runs per game, which was top class in the Appy League. The Axemen did not reach their season average once. The most they scored in a game was 6 runs, and that happened just shy of 24 hours ago in the series finale. We are just about ready for first pitch here from a pretty well-attended TVA Credit Union Ballpark, the home of the Johnson City Doughboys, as the Flyboys begin a quick 4-game road swing to close the week and then hit the road again on Tuesday, right back here in Johnson City. Nick Rotocap with you here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. So happy to have you with us on this Thursday evening, as the Flyboys look to ride the momentum that they built in the homestand, improving to 11-6 on the season. They've got a 1.5-game lead in the Appy League West. I know it's early in the season. We're only in game 18 of 48, but I'll tell you, that halfway point's going to hit pretty quickly. And then from there, it's a blitz to the end of July, and hopefully for the Flyboys in just over a month, they'll have another crack at the Appy League Championship, but we've still got a long way to go before we get there. From where we sit here in Johnson City, there is a black metal pole that is directly in my sight line as it relates to the pitching mound. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe I'll have to lean a little bit to the side and wake up with a funky knot in my neck, but we'll see. We're sitting outside, so like I said before, I get to work on my tan. On the mound is Ashton Alston for Johnson City here tonight. 6'6" right-hander out of the University of Alabama. Hasn't been the start to the season that he's wanted for the Doughboys. This will be his 4th appearance overall in his 3rd start of the season. He's only worked 5 2/3 innings. He's allowed 10 runs, all earned in that time frame. His walk rate, over 14 walks per 9 innings. That's something that he's looking to bring down. He'll have to do it against the Flyboys lineup that has been kind of scuffling. Not kind of, they have been scuffling when it comes to situational hitting. I think that's been kind of the bugaboo lately for Greenville. They had a lot of chances in the series finale against the Kingsport Axemen yesterday evening, but unfortunately they could not get it done when it mattered most. Micah Jordan stepping to the plate. Alston, the right-hander, towing the rubber. It's an all-turf field here in Johnson City. So Alston, the right-hander, getting ready to face Micah Jordan. And Jordan, the Flyboys center fielder here tonight. He'll lead off. He'll be followed by Tyler Inge, the shortstop. And Ezra McNaughton, the first baseman. So Jordan stepping in. The home plate umpire, Nate Grant, says, all right, let's do this thing. Alston from the windup. Here's the first pitch. Jordan takes low. We're underway at 7:03 here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. And with it being an all-turf field, the infielders have taken maybe an extra step or two back. The baseball gets up on you a little quicker. Here's the 1-0. Jordan takes way high, leaning out of the way of a fastball there. Alston redshirted his freshman season at the University of Alabama. Did not play. 2-0 the count on Jordan as the right-hander delivers. Jordan hits a chopper past the mound. Charging is the second baseman, Fife. Running throw is in time to get Micah Jordan by a step. So the Flyboys' leadoff man is gone, and now the batter, Tyler Inge. Inge striding to the plate after a 1-for-3 night in Game 2 of the doubleheader yesterday. His on-base percentage, over 400. We've seen him sporadically in the leadoff spot. Micah Jordan there most of the time, though. But Inge profiles just like a leadoff hitter. Digging in the right-handed box. The righty Alston fires. And Inge takes a strike. Fastball there from Alston. And Inge has shown good speed. And the Flyboys, we've said it before, but they love running. And if there's one thing they're going to do, they're going to make life difficult for teams on the base paths. Inge takes a strike on the low outside corner. Count quickly 0-2. And for Greenville entering tonight, they've nearly caught up when it comes to making up games. Every team in the Appy League playing either game 18 or 19 here tonight. The 0-2, Inge takes low and in. Alston missing with the fastball. But the Flyboys, despite having played one less game than the Burlington Sock Puppets, who were the first team to 11 wins and seem to be just as much of a threat to win the Appy League as any other team in the upper quadrant of the standings. Here's the 1-2. Inge chops one weakly to the left side. The third baseman, Kaufman, waits on it. And a slightly offline throw. Inge is safe at first base. The first baseman, Jackson Jones, had to stretch towards home plate, back behind the first base foul line, if you will. And as Inge was hustling to the first base bag, he stayed in the runner's lane but knocked Jones's first baseman's mitt off. But because he was in the runner's lane, there's no interference. So that'll probably go down as a throwing error charged to the third baseman, Camden Kaufman. And the Flyboys have a base runner here with one away in the top of the first. You don't see that play very often at all. Sometimes when the throw is offline like that, the first baseman will, as the first pitch to McNaughton is lined to left field, pretty well hit, and that ball is gone. Ezra McNaughton opens the scoring with a 2-run homer for the Flyboys here in the top of the first. McNaughton with his 6th homer of the season. That ball got out of here in a hurry. The outfield walls are very high here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. McNaughton, that one, a 377-foot line drive homer just left of the scoreboard in left field. And the Flyboys' leading slugger doing what he does best. Digging in now, Lane Akers. 2-0 Flyboys with one away in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. Akers takes a strike. McNaughton has been phenomenal for Greenville so far this season. Here's the 0-1 to Akers, up and outside. McNaughton now extending his lead at the top of the Appy League with 6 homers. No other batter has more than 3. Here's the 1-1. Akers takes low. And that was something I was going to touch on, was the outfield dimensions, save for straightaway right, are pretty normal. It's just the height of the wall that is, it sticks out to you so much. Here's the 2-1. Akers takes low and outside from Alston. I'd say just by eyeballing it, the outfield wall is probably 20 feet high, 315 feet down the right field line, 400 to dead center, and 330 to the left field pole. 3-1 to Akers, low and away. It's a 1-out walk. 3 straight base runners for the Flyboys here. Inge reaching on that throwing error. Ezra McNaughton hitting a 2-run homer on the very next pitch, and then Akers working the walk. So the batter now Dylan Jackson. And entering tonight, Ezra McNaughton, as you could probably have expected with his league best home run tally, also led the Appy League in OPS. That lead will expand. First pitch to Jackson. This ball's driven to left. Pretty well hit. Dunn back at the track. Makes the catch in the shadow of that high left field wall. And Akers retreats to first. But that ball was well hit off the bat of Jackson. The batter now, Jace Patton with 2 away. Man at first in the top of inning number 1. Flyboys leading 2-0 on the McNaughton homer. And Jace Patton back in the Greenville lineup for the first time this week. He last played on Sunday against Pulaski. Runner at first, Akers, right on right. Here's the pitch from Alston. This ball's fouled straight back, deflecting off the shoulder of the catcher, Ryan Jones. So Ryan Jones behind the plate. The third baseman is Camden Kaufman. The shortstop for Johnson City is Willie Hurt. The second baseman, Logan Fife. And the first baseman, Jackson Jones, holding Akers on at first. Left to right in the outfield, it's Logan Dunn, Paris Pridgen, and in right field is Trey Majette. Here's the 0-1. Patton takes a breaking ball on the low outside corner for strike 2. Alston looking to stop the damage and strand the Flyboys runner at first base. Here's the 0-2. Patton hits one sharply on the ground to third. Kaufman bobbles it. He tries to recover, makes a strong throw across the diamond. It's dropped by Jones. So some sloppy corner infield defense here by Johnson City in the first inning. Remember earlier in the inning as Inge reached on the throwing error that pulled Jones up the first baseline. There, Patton hit one. It looked pretty routine for Kaufman, but he could not come up with it cleanly. And then in his scramble to make the throw across the diamond, the throw was high and it deflected out of the first baseman's mitt of Jones. So now first and second for Reed Hare, the Flyboys right fielder, standing in the lefty box. Here's the pitch from Alston, and Hare takes low and outside. So they'll charge that error, the second of the first inning here, to the first baseman, Jones. One by each corner infielder. And Alston's probably thinking, man, I gave up the homer. Now I can't get much defensive help either. Here's the 1-0. Hare fouls it back. And for Ashton Alston in this first inning, he's had to labor. This next pitch will be number 20. As the Flyboys look to extend their early advantage. Fans still filing in here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. Here's the 1-1. Hare takes a fastball that misses high and outside. Alston, the 6'6" right-hander, losing his hat on that pitch. Johnson City in their home white uniforms. Their secondary colors are tan and black. And the Flyboys wearing the same tops they wore in the nightcap yesterday. 2-1 misses up and in. Hare leaning out of the way just a little bit. The count now 3-1. Greenville wearing the navy tops with Greenville in script red across the front, outlined in white. 3-1 the count on Hare. We'll see if he can get a pitch to drive into the gap. First and second, here's the pitch. Hare does drive this one up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Akers will stop at third as he gets the stop sign from the third base coach, Jared Miller. And so for the Flyboys, the bases are loaded here for Cameron Kim. Greenville doing a good job taking advantage and extending this inning after the Johnson City defensive miscues. So Cameron Kim has a golden chance to extend the Flyboys' advantage as they trail 2-0, or excuse me, they lead 2-0 in the top of the first. Alston's going to need his best stuff right here. Kim, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. He hits the first pitch off the pitcher's leg. Alston, he flips to home in time to record the force out and hobbles off toward the third base dugout. He'll take a second to catch his breath. The side is retired as the Flyboys lead 2-0 after the top of the first. We'll see if Alston is able to remain in the game. That ball was stung off the bat of Kim at 96 miles an hour, hitting Alston just below the belt. Hopefully he is okay. The Flyboys strike first on the 2-run homer by McNaughton. We'll go to the bottom of the first, 2-0 Greenville on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Back here in Johnson City, where the Greenville Flyboys lead the Johnson City Doughboys 2-0 after a half inning. Jay Smith, the Flyboys starting pitcher, working with the early lead. He'll face Logan Fife, Logan Dunn, and Paris Pridgen here in the home half of the opening inning. First pitch to Fife, a called strike at the top of the zone from Smith. And that's what he does best for Greenville. He attacks the zone. Seems like he's ahead of pretty much every hitter he faces. The right-hander always works from the stretch. The 0-1, a sharp liner up the middle. And a leadoff single for Logan Fife here in the bottom of the first. Now digging in, the left fielder, Logan Dunn. Johnson City has a bat dog. That's the cheering you're hearing after the play. That dog was efficient. So now the batter, Logan Dunn, as Fife will take his lead off of first base. Jay Smith has been phenomenal for Greenville this season. Smith making his second start, fourth appearance overall. Hasn't allowed an earned run in 9 1/3 innings pitched. But Logan Dunn digging in now from the left side. He lines the first pitch foul into the screen. Flyboys' defensive alignment tonight looks like this. Dylan Jackson is behind the plate. Cameron Kim at third base. Tyler Inge is the shortstop. Jace Patton at second, and Ezra McNaughton holding the runner on at first. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Dunn chased an outside fastball, and the count is 0-2. Grant Hunter is in left field. Micah Jordan patrolling center, and Reed Hare is in right for Greenville. The runner at first, Fife, has stolen 3 bases so far this season. We'll see if he starts here. He's got a short lead. Pickoff move over there. He dives back in safely. No need to worry too much about getting the jerseys dirty. This is an all-turf playing surface here in Johnson City. The only concern I would have is getting turf pellets stuck in my shoes. 0-2 on Dunn. Here's the pitch. He pops it foul over the screen behind home plate. I don't know that I've ever been to a ballpark where a team has a sponsor read for foul balls, but Johnson City has one. Fittingly, it's a collision repair service. I'm glad I didn't bring my car. 0-2 on Dunn, and the pitch. On the ground to the left side, Kim fields to second for one, Patton to first, a wild throw that escapes into the Flyboys dugout. So Fife is retired, scored 5-4. Dunn reaches on the fielder's choice, and he'll move to second on the throwing error. And that's one of those where if you're Jace Patton, you might be better off just holding on to that. It was kind of a cue shot off the end of the bat from Dunn. Took a while to get to Cameron Kim at third base, and Dunn was hustling up the first base line. So he's now at second after the ball went out of play. The batter, Paris Pridgen, the center fielder. Right on right. He takes a fastball. The high outside corner for strike one from Jace Smith. Smith wears glasses when he pitches. Some people call them goggles, but these are more standard glasses for the right-hander. An inside move to second. Dunn walks back to the base standing. You think of other pitchers that used eyewear on the mound. One that comes to mind for me is Tyler Clippard, who I remember as a Washington National. Here's the 0-1. Pridgeon, a high chopper up the middle. Patton fields, and from the second base bag, he throws out Pridgeon for the second out. On the play, Logan Dunn advances to third, but now there are 2 away in the inning. And the batter is the cleanup man, Jose Fernandez. Fernandez, the designated hitter here tonight, was hitless last night, although Johnson City and Bristol, neither team had much offense to speak of. Bristol won 2-1. The pitch. Fernandez takes low and outside. Fernandez also a catcher, originally from Venezuela. Plays his college ball at Bethune-Cookman University. Well built, standing at 6'3", 215. Here's the 1-0. Fernandez takes low and outside. And the count now 2-0. Flyboys leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. Johnson City with a man at third and 2 away. Jay Smith looking to leave him right there. Here's the 2-0. Fernandez takes low and away. Jackson backhands it to keep it in front of home plate. Of course, I think when you hear the name Jose Fernandez in a baseball context, your mind jumps to the Miami Marlins starting pitcher. 3-0 on the DH. Here's the pitch. Fernandez, a big swing and a miss. Tried to go up and get that one. Came up empty, and the count's 3-1. The Marlins' Jose Fernandez, who passed away way too soon, was an electrifying young starting pitcher for Miami. Here's the 3-1. Fernandez takes low. A 2-out walk, and runners on the corners now for Johnson City here in the first. The batter now, Trey Majette, the right fielder. A switch hitter batting left. Tough spot here for Jay Smith. He doesn't walk many hitters at all. Just his second walk so far this season for the Flyboys. And Smith at Grand Canyon over the last 2 years also did not walk a lot of hitters. First pitch, Majette takes up and outside. This spring, Jay Smith appeared in 15 games for Grand Canyon. Pitched 18 2/3 innings and only walked 8 guys. Here's the 1-0. This one's a soft liner to left center field. Ranging over is Grant Hunter, and he makes the catch to retire the side. The Doughboys strand a pair, and after one, Greenville leads Johnson City 2-0 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. 9-1-2 due up for Greenville here in the top of the second inning. The Flyboys leading 2-0 in Johnson City. Hunter, the Flyboys left fielder, taking up and in, leaning out of the way of a fastball there from Ashton Alston, the Johnson City right-handed pitcher. Right on right, the wind and the 1-0. Hunter takes inside once again, and the count 2-0. Greenville looking to pick up right where it left off in the first, sending 8 men to the plate, scoring on the 2-run homer from Ezra McNaughton. The way that inning ended, I think a bit unfortunate for both sides. 2-0 misses in the dirt. The count 3-0 on the Flyboys' number 9 hitter. Cameron Kim stepped to the plate with the bases loaded and hit one sharply right back up the middle. Unfortunately for Kim and the Johnson City pitcher, Ashton Alston, it caught him right on the leg as Hunter takes a low strike, and the count is 3-1. Alston was able to recover and flip to home plate to force out Lane Akers and end the inning, but he was hobbled going back to the third base dugout. Seems to be okay enough to continue, at least for now. 3-1. Hunter takes up and in. It's a 5-pitch leadoff walk to start the second. Second walk for Alston as he begins his second inning of work. The batter now, Micah Jordan. Jordan digging in for the second time in as many innings. He grounded out to start the ballgame. Clouds have now overtaken TVA Credit Union Ballpark. Temperature in the low 80s. First pitch to Jordan, fouled off down the right field side. Majette ranging over, runs out of room. That ball tails towards the corner. I think this is by far the most well-attended ballpark that we have been to so far in this Appy League season for the Flyboys. We get a decent amount of fans at Pioneer Park, but Johnson City has just got a buzz about it. Throw over to first, and Hunter dives back in. It almost has a bit of a minor league feel. Not quite Victory Field in Indianapolis level packed, but very few minor league parks can get to that level. The pitch to Jordan. Fouled away once again, and the count is 0-2. So 0-2 the count on Jordan. Hunter leading off first after the walk to start the inning. And this is a kind of special crossover for Flyboys manager Jack Wilson. He began his professional career right here in Johnson City. As the 0-2 to Jordan, chopped up the middle, might be two. Hurt charges, only play is to first, and he gets Jordan. Hunter hustling to second on that softly hit grounder. One away, runner in scoring position for Tyler Inge. Inge reached on a throwing error his first time up. See if he can drive in the Flyboys' third run of the game. Jack Wilson played his rookie ball for the Johnson City Cardinals back in 1998, when Wilson was just 20 years old. And this one off the bat of Inge into left field for a base hit. Rounding third and stopping there is Grant Hunter as Tyler Inge attacks the first pitch. And he's 1 for 2 today. And now digging in, Ezra McNaughton, who homered off Ashton Alston his last time up. McNaughton hit a line drive shot over the high left field wall. It's 330 to the corner, and again, the wall, just by my estimation, is about 20 feet high. McNaughton with a backside homer, showing his power to all fields. He's now got 6 on the season. Here's the pitch. McNaughton takes high. Flyboys leading 2-0 here, 1 away in the top of the second. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 7 o'clock before heading to Pulaski on Saturday and Sunday. Inge leading off of first. We'll see if he goes. He's got good speed over there. Alston fires, and McNaughton takes outside. The count 2-0. This is a dangerous spot to be in. With 2 men already on, and McNaughton, the Flyboys' premier home run threat, there's not really much Alston can do besides try to attack Ezra McNaughton here. And here comes the 2-0. McNaughton takes outside for ball 3. And on deck for the Flyboys, Lane Akers, who's also got double-digit RBIs this season. So really for Alston now, you're in a very tough spot. Ezra McNaughton, a formidable left-handed bat. The 3-0. Low and in, ball 4. And for the second time in as many innings, Greenville has loaded the bases against Ashton Alston. I wouldn't be surprised to see pitching coach Reed Casey come out of the dugout, and indeed he does, right on cue, to talk things over with Ashton Alston. The Johnson City bullpen is almost completely obstructed from our view. I see some players sitting on bleachers down there, but I can't see the mound. I'd suspect that Johnson City is probably going to get somebody up soon. Ashton Alston, here in just the second inning with 1 away, has already thrown 36 pitches. And again, command has kind of been the problem for him early in the season. He's got now 3 walks already so far tonight. Mound meeting ends as the pitching coach Reed Casey walks back to the dugout. Big spot in this game for Lane Akers. Grant Hunter at third base, Tyler Inge at second, Ezra McNaughton aboard at first. Akers walked his first time. He's got 1 home run on the season. Akers hit that one at Pioneer Park a few days ago. It was a towering homer to straightaway left field. Infielders set up to turn a double play here. It would end the inning. First pitch. Akers takes an off-speed pitch outside. That one a ball or 2 off the plate. So 1-0 the count on Akers with the bases loaded after the mound meeting. Alston's going to have to rein it back in quickly here. Here's the 1-0. Akers pops this one up, first base side, tailing towards foul territory. Majette ranging over, but it's the first baseman Jones who makes the catch. Runner tags, play at the plate. It gets away, and now Tyler Inge thought about scoring, but retreats to third. So that one, a sacrifice fly in foul territory. Because the first baseman Jones was the one who made that catch, he was running away from home plate, had to spin and try to make a strong throw to the plate. It got in on a hop, but the catcher, Ryan Jones, could not field and apply the tag cleanly. So the Flyboys now lead 3-0 as Akers picks up RBI number 13 this season. Men at second and third, 2 away for Dylan Jackson. The right-hander Alston looking to limit the Flyboys' scoring here. The pitch. Jackson pops it up, out of play behind home plate. And that one landing in the bleachers. Lots of fans have filed in here in Johnson City. The Flyboys have already scored as many runs as both the Doughboys and Bristol did here last night. 0-1 on Jackson. Here it comes. He takes well high. Alston couldn't get on top of the off-speed pitch. Throw behind the runner at third base, and Tyler Inge dives back in safely. That was Jones, the catcher, trying to pick him off. But Inge was wise to it. The count 1-1 on Jackson. Alston's ready. And here's the 1-1. Jackson takes way high. It gets to the backstop, and through the backstop, Inge jogs across home plate, and Ezra McNaughton moves to third base. That's not something you see every day. There must be a hole in the backstop behind home plate, maybe between the wall and the netting. That's my only guess. That one ended up in the seats. So the Flyboys now lead 4-0 after the wild pitch. McNaughton gets third base, but no further. 2-1 on Jackson. Alston comes back. Jackson pops it up on the infield, foul territory, third base side, and that ball is out of play. A couple rows back. The Flyboys already a very busy scorecard, which I'm sure they're glad about. Greenville up 4-0 here with 2 away in the top of the second. The Flyboys giving Jace Smith some early insurance. We'll see if he can capitalize. So 2-2 the count on Jackson now. And the pitch. Jackson pops up another one. This one's into shallow right. Majette near the foul line makes the catch. Ranging into foul territory, and that ends the inning. But the Flyboys get 2 more. One on the sacrifice fly from Lane Akers, and the other on the wild pitch, scoring Tyler Inge. After an inning and a half, Greenville leading 4-0 over Johnson City on the Flyboys Baseball Network. With all Flyboys early in this one, leading 4-0 after an inning and a half. Jay Smith's got some early cushion to work with here on the mound for Greenville. He'll face Camden Kaufman, Jackson Jones, and Ryan Jones. 6, 7, 8 in the Johnson City order here in the home half of inning number 2. Nick Rodecap with you on the Flyboys Baseball Network. So happy to have you with us. On a very pleasant Thursday evening here in East Tennessee. Digging in, the right-handed hitter Kaufman. He takes a first pitch right at the bottom of the zone, says the home plate umpire, Nate Grant. And the count 0-1. From where we sit, slightly offset to the left, that looked low, but it was right there. Dylan Jackson, I think, just had trouble receiving it. 0-1 off the end of the bat, sinking into shallow right. Reed Hare charging, McNaughton going out. That ball is foul. Bouncing just on the wrong side of the line if you're Camden Kaufman, the Johnson City third baseman. So the count 0-2. We were talking about Jack Wilson beginning his professional career right here in Johnson City, playing for the Cardinals when they were affiliated. That was back in 1998. Wilson, one of 2 players on that roster to make it to the major leagues. The other was Jose Rodriguez, a reliever drafted in the 24th round in '97, originally from Puerto Rico. He had a brief stint in the majors, pitched 6 games in 2000 for St. Louis, and then again in 2002. Next pitch hit in the air to right center field. Jordan and Reed Hare converging, and Micah Jordan makes the catch to retire Kaufman. One away here in the bottom of the second, the batter Jackson Jones. Jack Wilson had the much more successful major league career. Of course, an all-star. Also a Silver Slugger Award winner in his 2004 season. Jackson Jones steps in, takes a strike. Jones, the first baseman. Jones playing his college ball at Tennessee. Next pitch on the outside corner from Jay Smith, and the count 0-2. And this is what Jay Smith does, just attacking the zone every pitch. Johnson City hitters, I think, maybe realizing soon that they'll have to be a little more aggressive. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout of the evening for Jay Smith. That went on 3 pitches. And now Ryan Jones stepping to the plate with the first 2 men retired here in the bottom of the second. That one a slider at the top of the zone to the right-handed hitter Jones. He just couldn't catch up to it. So now stepping in, Ryan Jones. A pair of Jones hitting back-to-back. Smith delivers a first pitch strike to the second of the 2. See if he can keep up with the Joneses here. And when Morgan Wallen released his song 98 Braves a couple years ago, 0-1, a swing and a miss, and the count 0-2. 5 strikes to the last 2 batters from Jay Smith. I've got to finish up this story quickly. Wallen had a line in that song about keeping up with the Joneses, referring to Andrew Jones and Chipper Jones. 0-2. Ryan Jones takes low and outside. It gets to the backstop. And as far as prolific major league teams go, the 1998 Braves were, I think, one of the surprises to not win the World Series or even make it that far. 1-2. Jones takes way high. That one gets to the backstop. So now the count 2-2. The 98 Braves won 106 games to win the NL East. And they swept the Cubs in the NLDS just to fall in 6th to the San Diego Padres in the National League Championship Series. 2-2, a high chopper to the left side. Cameron Kim cutting it off, throwing on the run in time to get Ryan Jones and end the inning. Good job by Jay Smith of delivering a shutdown second. On to the third we go. 4-0 Greenville over Johnson City on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Johnson City goes to the bullpen after 2 innings from its starting pitcher, Ashton Alston. Alston allowing 4 runs on 3 hits, walking 3, not recording any strikeouts. He gives way to Brian Smith. Smith, a right-handed pitcher out of Canassus College by way of Buffalo, New York, which is where Canassus is located. Standing at 6'1", 215 pounds. This will be his 6th appearance of the season. Smith so far this season has posted a 4.5 ERA in 8 innings pitched. He's allowed 5 hits. For Canassus this past year, didn't quite go the way he wanted. He allowed 24 runs in just over 17 innings pitched. 17 walks to 18 punch-outs, and he'll look to keep the Flyboys off the board. Something that has been tough for Doughboys pitching. Well, nigh on impossible through the first 2 go-rounds. Jace Patton, Reed Hare, and Cameron Kim, 6, 7, 8 due up. And Patton takes inside as Smith misses with the heater there. That one at 90 miles an hour on the inside chalk. Patton tucking his back foot into the corner of the righty batter's box. Here's the 1-0. Fastball misses high, and the count 2-0 on Patton. The Flyboys doing a good job of taking what they're given so far here tonight. Coming through with runners on when they need to. Here's the 2-0 to Patton. A ground ball to the left side. Kaufman swallows it up. Throw across the diamond is in time, and the Flyboys' second baseman is gone. Flyboys up 4-0, one away, top of the third. The batter is Reed Hare. Hare digging in. Tried to will the Flyboys to a comeback win last night. He hit a 2-out triple in the bottom of the 7th. That was a 7-inning game. And represented the tying run standing at third base. But unfortunately, Greenville came up just short. First pitch, Hare takes a fastball low and outside. Greenville was down to its final strike. TJ Adams worked a 10-pitch walk, giving Hare the chance to drive him in, and he did. The 1-0. Hare hits this one in the air to left. Going back is done, just shy of the warning track. He makes the catch, jogging towards the foul line. Reed Hare is gone. 2 away here in the top of the third. The batter is Cameron Kim. Good job by Brian Smith. Very efficient so far. We were talking about the 1998 Atlanta Braves and how shocking it was that they didn't make it to the World Series. It's considered still one of the bigger upsets in all of Major League Baseball postseason history, as Cameron Kim takes ball one as it skips to the backstop to count 1-0. The Braves won the National League East by nearly 20 games. They finished 18 games up on the New York Mets. The Padres were 98-64. The Braves 106-56. 1-0. Kim lines this one into left field. That is a sharp base hit with 2 outs here in the third for Kim. And now Grant Hunter, the number 9 hitter, stepping to the plate. And for Cameron Kim, that is now his 4th straight game with a base hit. He swung it well against the Kingsport Axemen at Pioneer Park over the previous 3 days. Here's Grant Hunter now. See if he can bring the top of the order up for the 3rd time in 3 innings. Brian Smith is set. First pitch to Hunter. Fastball for a strike. Kim may be a threat to run here. He's attempted 3 steals so far this year. Hasn't played in as many games as his teammates. Joining the Flyboys a little bit late after his collegiate program, UCLA, made it to Omaha. 0-1. Hunter takes way high. And this when the Braves and Padres squared off in the National League Championship Series. This is back when the Houston Astros were in the National League Central. The Astros won the division over the Cubs by 12.5 games. 1-1 skips in front of home plate, blocked there by Ryan Jones, and the count now 2-1. The reason, of course, we were talking about the 1998 Atlanta Braves is because Johnson City has 2 Joneses, one behind the plate, Ryan Jones, and the man at first base holding the runner on, Jackson Jones. 2-1. Hunter takes an inside strike right on the inside edge of the plate, and the count now 2-2. If Grant Hunter can reach, Micah Jordan would hit for the 3rd time in 3 innings. Smith looking to keep Jordan in the on-deck circle. A throw over to first. Kim dives back in without a tag. And the next pitch to Hunter skips in and outside as well. The count 3-2. So Cameron Kim will be off on the pitch. Full count, 2 outs. Kim over at first. See if Hunter can bring the top of the order back up. Smith is set. And the runner goes. The pitch chopped off Hunter's leg at home plate. We'll do it again. The 1998 Atlanta Braves had one of the greatest starting pitching rotations ever in the history of Major League Baseball. Headline, of course, by Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. John Smoltz, Danny Nagel, and Kevin Millwood in there as well. Smoltz and Maddux finished tied for 4th in Cy Young voting. Tom Glavine won it. Full count on Hunter. Kim will take off once again. Another throw over to first. Kim again diving back in without a tag. And now we'll do the payoff pitch one more time. Runner goes, the pitch fouled back. Hunter doing a good job of extending this plate appearance. The Braves starting lineup, of course, featuring Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, Andres Galarraga. Ozzie Guillen was on that team, albeit he was 34 at the time. Three and two on Hunter. Kim goes once again. The pitch line towards right center field. Majette and Pridgen converging. That ball is off the wall on a hop. Kim will score all the way from first. Grant Hunter pulls up at second base. And the Flyboys extend their lead. It's 5-0 here in the top of the third on an RBI double from Grant Hunter. 2 out base runners for Greenville, doing a great job taking advantage. Kim with the base hit, and then Hunter driving him home with a double deep into the right center field gap. So indeed, Micah Jordan will get the chance to hit for the third time in 3 innings. He's grounded out his first 2, looking to avoid being on pace for an 0 for 9 a day, which by my advanced calculations is not very good. First pitch to Jordan. A chopper in front of home plate. We'll see if he can beat the throw. This is going to be a tough one for Fife. He has no play. And now Hunter too far off third, diving back in as the throw goes across the diamond. There's Micah Jordan's speed, catching Johnson City a bit off guard. It's an infield hit. That ball was just off the end of the bat, hit very softly. Probably fortunate for Jordan. If it was hit much harder, he probably would have been thrown out. But the pitcher, Smith, could not cut the ball off. And Fife, charging from second base, had no play by the time he got to the ball. So now first and third, 2 away for Tyler Inge. Hunter, the lead runner. Micah Jordan off of first. Right on right, Smith has allowed 3 straight 2-out base runners. And the pitch to Inge. A strike on the outside corner. Big spot in this game for Greenville. They already lead 5-0, but looking to take Johnson City even further out of it here early. Here's the 1-0. Inge takes low. Tyler Inge, a very patient hitter. Sometimes maybe a little too patient, but he's very selective. And here on 2-0, he can look for his pitch. Or 1-1, I should say. And a throw over to first. Jordan leaning, gets back in just ahead of the tag. That is the one kind of bugaboo with Micah Jordan, is sometimes he gets a little too greedy over at first. But he's got a big lead over there once again. The count 1-1 on Inge. 1 run home in the inning. Runners on the corners with 2 down. Smith is ready. We'll see if Jordan goes. He does. The pitch, a called strike on a breaking ball. Throw down to second is way late. Micah Jordan is 15 for 15 stealing bases so far this season for Greenville. So now 2 in scoring position as Jordan extends his league lead in the stolen base department. But the count 1-2 on Inge. We'll see if he can pick up a clutch 2-out RBI. In all likelihood, it would score both. Here's the 1-2. Inge takes low, and the count 2-2. Jordan has stolen 15 bases in less than 18 games for Greenville. He's only started in 17 of those games. 1 game he came off the bench and stole a base. 2-2 on Inge. If he can reach, Ezra McNaughton would come up. Here it comes. Inge takes a breaking ball outside, and he's run the count full. Good job there by Tyler Inge, remaining disciplined. You see those right-handed pitchers go for that wipeout breaking ball quite a bit against right-handed hitters, but Inge saw it all the way. So now a full count. Smith got 2 quick outs and now having to labor to get the third. Here it comes. Inge takes low and outside, ball 4. Brian Smith thought that was strike 3. That pitch was on the plate at the knees, but Nate Grant, the home plate umpire, said nope. That pitch is not a strike. So the Flyboys perhaps catch a break. That pitch looked like it was on the plate, but we talked about Tyler Inge's patience there. Now Ezra McNaughton digging in with the bases loaded. McNaughton has reached both times. He homered to left in the first and walked in the second. He, too, hits for the third time in 3 innings. And McNaughton could really blow this one open here. Here's the pitch. He drives this one to right field. This ball is crushed, but also well foul. That one, I think, would have had home run distance, but he just couldn't wait on it long enough. That one was 331 feet foul down the right field line. It's only 315 to the corner. I don't think Smith is going to try to beat him with anything inside again. Here's the 0-1. McNaughton hits this one in the air to left. Pretty well struck. Dunn back at the wall, and that one is off the wall. This one will clear the bases. The throw coming in goes to third base, and it is a 3-run double for Ezra McNaughton. The Flyboys have blown it open in the third. It's 8-0. And this is the dream scenario for Greenville. Ezra McNaughton, in his first 3 plate appearances, is 2 for 2 with 2 extra base hits and 5 RBIs. He's on his way to a 3rd Appy League Player of the Week title in 4 weeks. Here's Lane Akers looking to drive in McNaughton from second. Here's the pitch in the dirt. And if you're Smith, you're thinking, man, I was having no trouble sailing through this inning for the first 2 batters. 5 consecutive 2-out base runners here for Greenville. And I think they just called a balk. Ezra McNaughton is jogging to third base. So Smith, a little bit of a mental lapse there. Balks McNaughton to third. 1-0 the count on Akers. Here's the pitch. Akers takes low and outside. McNaughton missed a grand slam by about 5 feet. And both of these extra base hits, the homer and the double, have been to the opposite field. It's a 20-foot high wall. McNaughton's power has been a sight to behold so far this season. The 2-0. Akers takes in the dirt, ball 3. A throw behind McNaughton. He gets back in standing, ducking the throw from Jones, the catcher. Man, you can feel the energy was palpable early on. It seems like it's now got a damper on it here. Flyboys leading 8-0 in the third. It would make sense. Here's the pitch. Akers takes a 4-pitch walk. And man, the Flyboys will send their 9th man to the plate. And I, again, wouldn't be shocked to see the Johnson City pitching coach come out. Reed Casey came out to talk to the starter last inning. Ashton Alston's day finishing up after 2. This is just a conference now between Ryan Jones, the catcher, and Brian Smith, the pitcher. The batter is Dylan Jackson. If you look at the Flyboys side of the scorecard, it is just bedlam everywhere you look. Greenville with 8 runs on 7 hits. Ezra McNaughton responsible for 5 of those 8 runs. And before Dylan Jackson steps to the plate, Jack Wilson, the Flyboys manager, wants to have a word with him. Runners on the corners, 2 out here in the top of the third. Greenville leading 8-0 over Johnson City, looking to make a statement to start this road trip. So Wilson talking to Dylan Jackson, the Flyboys catcher here tonight. And now Jackson taking a deep breath before stepping into the righty box as the 9th man to the plate in this inning. Smith on an island out there on the mound. The pitch. Jackson takes inside. Dylan Jackson playing his high school ball at Thousand Oaks High School, coached by Jack Wilson. So those two have a working relationship that goes back multiple years. Here's the 1-0. Jackson fouls it off at home plate. And I guess from where we sit, slightly offset, very low behind home plate, it's kind of hard to read the ball off the bat as far as the depth of a fly ball is concerned. But McNaughton, we mentioned, the homer the other way, and then the 3-run double off about probably 15 feet up the wall. He's shown off his power here tonight. Here's the 1-1. Jackson takes low and outside. So Brian Smith in this inning has now thrown 31 pitches. And if you were to, go back probably about 15 minutes after he retired Reed Hare, you were thinking, okay, maybe this is a quick 3 up, 3 down, and Johnson City can get back into this one. Here's the 2-1. Jackson pops it up behind the screen. This ball gets out of play. And the count now on Jackson 2-2. Akers, the runner at first. Ezra McNaughton, the runner at third. 2 away in the inning. The Flyboys already with 4 as they now lead 8-0 here in the third. Smith looking to mercifully get out of it. And the 2-2 to Jackson. Swung on, grounded sharply past the diving third baseman into left field. Ezra McNaughton will trot home. It's an RBI single for Dylan Jackson. And the Flyboys lead 9-0 here in the third. The Flyboys will bat around as Jace Patton comes back to the plate. And that brings Johnson City manager Dave Anderson out of the third base dugout. Brian Smith will not get to face Jace Patton for a second time. He will walk off after recording just 2 outs and 9 batters faced. A new right-hander coming on out of the Johnson City bullpen. We'll get you the details on him when we come back. All Flyboys here in Johnson City, leading the Doughboys 9-0 with 2 away in the top of the third on the Flyboys Baseball Network. All Flyboys here in Johnson City. Greenville leading the Doughboys 9-0 with 2 away in the top of the third. Johnson City going to its bullpen as it'll be Stephen Swee out of the bullpen. The reliever facing Jace Patton, who steps to the plate for the second time in this inning. The Flyboys have men at first and second with 2 gone. And there is a very real chance that Greenville gets through the entire order 3 times in 3 innings. Patton in the number 6 spot. It would take a lot, but to get this far through the order in less than 3 full innings is very impressive for the Flyboys. They lead 9-0, first and second for Patton. Swee, the right-hander, facing Patton, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch. Patton takes, low and away, ball 1. Not the outing Brian Smith was looking for at all. Just 2/3 of an inning, allowing at least 5 runs on 5 hits, walking 2. He is responsible for both men on the base paths. Here's the 1-0 to Patton. Fouled back. And this is perhaps the most shocking thing. Maybe I'm jinxing it by saying it, but the Flyboys have not struck out at the plate yet. Again, nearly 3 full trips through the order and no strikeouts recorded by Johnson City pitching. Stephen Swee pitching for Johnson City, on for his 5th appearance of the season. He has not allowed a run in 6 2/3 innings. The Flyboys looking to snap that scoreless streak right here. Let's see what Patton can do. Here's the 1-1. Patton takes a breaking ball that misses low. And what you're seeing by these Flyboys hitters is, I think, really good pitch recognition. It looks like they're just seeing the ball really well. There is no batter's eye here because of the height of the outfield wall. It's solid green, going up about 20 feet high. Here's the 2-1. Patton takes low and away, ball 3. The Flyboys have already loaded the bases 3 times, and we're not even through the 3rd inning. If Patton reaches on a walk, the bases will be loaded for the 4th time already tonight. Here's the 3-1. Patton hits this one on the ground to the left side. Kaufman cuts it off. The throw to second forces out Jackson, and the side is finally retired. But the Flyboys bat around, and they score 5 times, punctuated by the 3-run double off the bat of Ezra McNaughton. On to the bottom of the 3rd, Greenville leading 9-0 over Johnson City on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Welcome back to Johnson City, the home of the Doughboys. It is all Greenville through the first 2.5 innings. The Flyboys leading the home 9. 9-0 our scores. We begin the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jay Smith working with one of the biggest leads any Flyboys pitcher has had this season. He'll face Willie Hurt, Logan Fife, and Logan Dunn. 9-1-2 as Johnson City concludes its first trip through the order. First pitch to Hurt, fouled off over the 3rd base dugout. Greenville, by comparison, has nearly gone through its entire order 3 times as we close the opening third of this game. And for Smith, you're thinking about another shutdown inning here. He retired the side in order in the second. 0-1. Hertz swings and misses for strike 2. An elevated fastball there from Smith. There is a mercy rule for Appy League games played between Tuesday and Thursday. This a Thursday night game, so it is in effect. 0-2 on Hurt. The pitch from Smith. Swung on, hit in the air to right field. Pretty well struck. Reed Hare going back at the wall. That ball is off the wall. Hurt is on his way to third. This ball took a hard carom off the outfield wall. And it's a leadoff triple for Willie Hurt here in the bottom of the third. And if the comeback's going to start for Johnson City, it's going to have to start somewhere. Willie Hurt triples off the wall. That ball deflected past Reed Hare as he was trying to play it on a bounce. So the leadoff man at third for Logan Fife. And this is what you want if you're Johnson City. You've got the upper part of your order coming up once again, facing Jace Smith. We'll see if they can cash in. First pitch misses low and away to Logan Fife. Fife singled right back up the middle to start the bottom of inning number 1. 1-0 on him here. The pitch. Foul away behind home plate. So the mercy rule in the Appy League is 10 runs after 7 innings. Flyboys up 9-0 here in the bottom of the third. We still have a very long way to go before we get there. Jay Smith trying to work around this leadoff triple. Here's the 1-1. Fife chops this one foul up the third base line. The Flyboys infield is playing at normal depth. Of course, when you're up 9, you will trade a run for an out. And you talk about run expectancy. That's a metric that they use in professional baseball. Basically, how likely is a team to score with a given situation with respect to base runners and outs. The run expectancy for a man on third and nobody out is very high. 1-2. Fife takes outside. If you're Smith, you're thinking, okay, yeah, I just got barreled up, but I'm working with the big lead. And when you're around the plate as much as Jay Smith is, that's just something that happens sometimes. 2-2 on Fife. Here's the pitch. Fife lines this one toward left center field. This ball is trouble. Micah Jordan cuts it off on a bounce, gets it back in quickly. Hurt will trot home, and the Doughboys are on the board here in the bottom of the third. It's now 9-1 on the RBI single by Logan Fife. His second base hit and as many trips. And the batter now, Logan Dunn. Left-handed batter stepping in with Fife aboard at first. And for Johnson City, their team offense has been very good. They're third in the league in scoring at just shy of 6.5 runs per game. The league average is 5.7 runs per game. First pitch, Dunn takes a strike. A fastball right there. The Doughboys second in the Appy League with 152 hits. And the 0-1 to Dunn. Swung on. This one's lined towards center field. Jordan has to pull up and play this one on a bounce as well. So 3 straight hits to start the third inning for Johnson City. And the batter now, Paris Pridgen. And the catcher, Dylan Jackson, walking out to have a word with Jace Smith here, as will the Flyboys pitching coach, Jared Morton. And Smith's velocity from the right side won't blow you away. The fastball so far tonight sitting in the upper 80s. So when you miss your spots, even by a little bit, hitters are going to capitalize. So for the Flyboys, Jared Morton, the pitching coach, probably just saying, okay, let's go back to what was working. Go back to trying to hit your spots. Don't worry about the score. This is the heart of the Johnson City order. Pridgen, the number 3 hitter. Jose Fernandez, the cleanup man, on deck. 9-1, Greenville leading here in the bottom of the third, but Johnson City is threatening. And if you're the Doughboys, you're down big early, so you're thinking, okay, we're not probably going to get all 9 runs back in 1 inning. Let's just get a little bit here, a little bit there. Nobody away, first and second. 1 run home in the inning for Paris Pridgeon. Pridgeon, an outfielder out of Austin P here in Tennessee. And Smith comes home. Breaking ball misses low. So 1-0 the count on Pridgeon. Smith looking for the double play right here. Here's the pitch. Pridgeon takes low and outside. It gets away from Jackson. Runners take off. No throw. So a wild pitch there by Smith allows both runners to move up. And that also erases the double play opportunity. Now for the Flyboys, Evan Kay is jogging down towards the right field bullpen, a right-handed reliever. I suspect he'll start getting loose. 2-0 on Pridgeon. Men at second and third. The pitch. Way outside, ball 3. This has been the first real sign of trouble we've seen all season for Jay Smith. He had not allowed an earned run entering tonight. That streak is over after just over 10 innings. Here's the 3-0. Pridgeon takes a strike. 90-mile-per-hour fastball there from Smith as he tries to battle back from behind. 3-0 in the count. Seems like the ball is going to fly here in Johnson City tonight. We've already seen that for Greenville. 3-1. Pridgeon takes strike 2. That fastball right on the plate at the bottom of the zone. And now Jay Smith has brought the count back full. Strikeout would be huge here with 2 on and nobody away. Here it comes. Pridgeon takes strike 3. He got ahead 3-0, and then Smith punched him out with 3 straight fastballs. That one was right on the inside corner. And that is a huge first out here in the 3rd inning, recorded by Jay Smith. Now stepping in the cleanup man, Jose Fernandez. Fernandez has 2 homers already this season. The pitch from Smith in the dirt, blocked by Dylan Jackson. Fernandez, more of a slug guy than a contact guy. Hitting just .238, but with 7 extra base hits already. He's the right guy for the job. The 1-0. A fastball catches the high inside corner for a strike from Smith. And Smith has gone almost exclusively with the hard stuff after the mound meeting. We saw a couple of sliders, but it seems like he's going to lean on the heater here. Here's the 1-1. Fernandez takes another fastball. This one misses outside and low. Smith also reaching back and throwing a little bit harder. That one at 91 miles per hour. 2-1 the count on Fernandez. Men at second and third, 1 down. Here's the pitch. Fernandez takes a breaking ball low and away. Actually, that was a fastball. From our vantage point, sometimes it's tough to see spin. We're offset to the left of home plate and pretty low. So 3-1 on Fernandez, the cleanup man. Mentioned his extra base hit capabilities. Here's the pitch. Fernandez takes ball 4. And the bases are loaded for Johnson City. But Fernandez does not have a stolen base to his credit this season. He's not a threat to run. So if you're Smith, you've set up the double play. But also now the bases are loaded for Trey Majette. Switch hitter batting left. Majette lined out to left field last time. A little bit unlucky there. A chance to really eat into this Greenville lead. The Flyboys up 9-1, but Johnson City threatening. Here's the pitch. Majette takes a fastball high and outside. Feels like this is a big inflection point in this game. If Smith can get out of this by limiting the damage to just a couple of runs maybe, feels like that could take the wind out of Johnson City's sails. Here's the 1-0. Majette takes a strike. A fastball on the low outside corner there. A pitcher's pitch from Smith. That one was right at the bottom of the zone. So 1-1 the count on Trey Majette. Switch hitter crowding that left-handed batter's box. Runners take their leads at all 3 bags. Here's the 1-1. Majette takes a fastball on the low inside corner for a strike. And as we look at the TrackMan strike zone here, most of these borderline calls have been good. That one was maybe a ball inside. But that's a very good pitch by Jay Smith. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go right back to that same spot here on 1 and 2. You can hear the crowd didn't like it. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, chopped to second. This might be 2. Patton to Inge for 1. On to first. Double play. And a fantastic job by Jay Smith of limiting the damage in the 3rd inning. Johnson City loaded the bases with 1 out and did not score. The Doughboys do get on the board with the RBI single from Logan Fife, but Jay Smith does a phenomenal job of just limiting the Doughboys to 1 run. After 3, Greenville leading 9-1 on the Flyboys Baseball Network. It's been a crazy train so far tonight for Johnson City pitchers. They have had all kinds of trouble with this Greenville lineup. The Flyboys leading 9-1 at the end of the 3rd. Greenville scored 5 runs in the last half inning. We'll see what they can do here in the 4th. It'll be Reed Hare, followed by Cameron Kim and Grant Hunter, facing Stefan Swee, who got the final out of the 3rd inning. As we begin the 4th, right on left, Hare takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. The Flyboys have already had all 9 men reach safely, and we're only in the 4th inning. Here's the 0-1. Hare lines this one over the head of the shortstop Hurt into left center field. That ball is ticketed for extra bases. Reed Hare with good speed, stopping at second. A good job by Pridgen, the center fielder, of getting over there quickly. But it's a leadoff double for Reed Hare. He is now 2 for 3 tonight. Now stepping in, Cameron Kim. Kyle Body is swinging a bat in the first base coach's box right now. He's a Flyboys pitcher. I don't know if he's going to get a chance to hit tonight. But Cameron Kim stepping in, 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. Hare at second base after the leadoff 2-bagger. His 2nd extra base hit in his last 4 at-bats. Right on right, first pitch to Kim. A breaking ball missing up and in. Kim having to turn out of the way of that one. Cameron Kim's been swinging it well lately. The slugging numbers maybe not where he wants, but he's racking up the hits quickly. 1-0. Kim fouls it away. Reaching out, just getting a piece of that. Hitting it to the backstop. The sun setting here in Johnson City. A little bit of illumination provided by it on the field, but otherwise, floodlights, I think, doing most of the work on the playing surface. 1-1 on Kim. Here's the pitch. Hit on the ground to the left side. Kaufman fields, looks the runner back, and throws out Kim. So 1 away here in the 4th for Grant Hunter. Hare having to stay at second as that ball was hit in front of him to the Johnson City 3rd baseman. 9-1, Flyboys over the Doughboys here in the top of the 4th. And Hunter stepping to the plate now. He's been a very productive man at the bottom of the Flyboys order so far. An RBI double and 2 runs scored in as many trips. Swee takes a look at second. And the pitch to Hunter. A breaking ball at the bottom of the zone for a strike. That one right at the knees to Hunter. Swee setting up on the first base side of the rubber. Couple looks at second. Hare's got a big lead. The pitch. Hunter, a check swing on a breaking ball, but he went around. That's strike 2. That was an elevated breaker from Swee. It started above the zone, ended up off the plate away. And Hunter could not keep his hands back. That was a slow curveball at 73 miles per hour. 0-2 on Hunter. Swee deals. Hunter takes a fastball that misses up and in. For the Flyboys, this offensive explosion that they've had so far today, you hope that they can keep it going and push this game out of reach as we approach the latter stages. Here's the 1-2. Hunter takes a breaking ball inside. Another one of those that starts well above the zone from Swee. And the concern when you're missing high with a breaking ball, that one just off the high inside corner, is that if that one comes back about belt high to the hitter, it might get crushed. Here's the 2-2. Hunter takes outside. The catcher, Jones, trying to frame that one and bring it back to the corner. But that was on the outside chalk. Fans are frustrated with the home plate umpire, Nate Grant, but that is not a pitch that you can really object to. So Hunter's run the count full, and the next pitch of this plate appearance will be number 6. And the payoff. Swee hits Hunter, and it's a one-out base runner for the Flyboys. Would have been ball 4 either way. But Hunter has now reached all 3 times. Micah Jordan 1 for 3. I don't know how many times in his career he's done this, but Jordan will hit for the 4th time in 4 innings. And again, looking at the Flyboys scorecard, it's kind of absurd how much ink I've already used just on that half of the paper. First and second here for Jordan. He's been known to hit one into the gap time and again. First pitch, this ball is crushed to straightaway left. That ball is long gone for Micah Jordan. A 3-run homer, his first of the season. And the Flyboys, well, they got the run back and then some. It's now 12-1 here in the 4th. Jordan ambushed that first pitch, a fastball at the top of the zone, and he sent that one a long way out of here. Wow. 384 feet to straightaway left field for Micah Jordan. And I'm not going to take credit for that, but I think I spoke that into existence. Tyler Inge stepping in now. I don't think the fans in Johnson City can believe what they're seeing. Tyler Inge takes a strike. As someone who has watched every pitch of every game this season and talked about it, I can't believe it either. This is the best the Flyboys offense has looked all season. I know it's early. First pitch to Inge was a strike. The second one missing low and away. So the count 1-1. Inge has reached all 3 times. You don't think of Micah Jordan as a power threat very much. You think of him as somebody who will work the gaps, bunt for hits, leg out ground balls on the infield. Inge takes high, the count 2-1. I didn't know Micah Jordan had that in him. But he must have been sitting on that fastball up and in because he jumped all over it. Wow. 2-1 on Inge as Swee tries to settle down. Here's the pitch. And this one stung to short, but right at the shortstop, Willie Hurt. And that is the second out of the inning. If that one is hit maybe 5 feet in either direction, that's probably a double to the wall. Unfortunately, we don't live in a hypothetical world. So 2 away for Ezra McNaughton. And McNaughton is having probably the best start to a game that you can have. McNaughton, 2 for 2. He's reached all 3 times. A homer, a double, and 5 RBIs. McNaughton has 1 multi-homer game this season. It was in the homestand against Bristol. First pitch misses in the dirt. But Ezra McNaughton, my pick for the Appy League Player of the Year in the early going. I did not say so before the season. This is just based on what I've seen so far. 1-0. McNaughton fouls it away. And we've seen him in the last few days take his walks. He reached 3 out of 4 times last night, had just 1 hit, but he is a very patient hitter. He's selective. And he knows when pitchers, they don't want to let him be the one to put up the crooked number. He knows when to be patient. The 1-1. McNaughton hits this one in the air weakly to shallow left. Dunn charging. 3 men converging. That ball is down, and that is a foul ball. I thought that was fair, and it was caught. I thought that ball bounced. I don't know. I thought that ball bounced on the foul line. It is ruled caught by the home plate umpire, Nate Grant. I thought that ball bounced on the foul line. And the Flyboys' third base coach, Jared Miller, is out talking to the plate umpire. Jack Wilson also wants an explanation, and now the umpires are going to talk about it. they have a much better view than I did, and from here it looked like that ball bounced. I don't know. We don't have replay review in the Appy League. McNaughton still standing on second base, but the play stands as called. I think Ezra McNaughton just got robbed of another double. But the Flyboys score 3 more on the homer from Micah Jordan. On to the bottom of the 4th. It is 12-1 Greenville on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Back here in Johnson City as we begin the bottom of the 4th inning. Jay Smith working with an 11-run cushion. Greenville leading 12-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Smith facing Camden Kaufman, and he starts him off with a strike. Kaufman will be followed by Jackson Jones and Ryan Jones. 6, 7, 8 in the Flyboys order. In the Johnson City order. This is the same 3 batters that Smith retired in order in the 2nd inning. Looking for another shutdown frame here. The 0-1. Fouled away, and the count 0-2. I am curious to see what happens to the legibility of my scorebook as the sun sets. I don't see any lights in the stands here, and we are outside, as you can probably tell. So hopefully I can still read here in about an hour. Here's the 0-2. Kaufman lines one well foul down the left field side. And if you're Johnson City, you're thinking, okay, that was a really tough swing between the bottom of the 3rd and the top of the 4th. The Flyboys escaped a bases-loaded jam. It was Smith inducing a double play ball off the bat of Trey Majette to end the inning. Johnson City scored just once. Here's another 0-2. Kaufman takes well outside. And then Micah Jordan just stunned this place with a towering 3-run homer in the top of the 4th. So you go from stranding the bases loaded to giving up a 3-run homer. And that was a net swing of 2 runs for the Flyboys. 1-2. Kaufman fouls it back. Smith handcuffed him there on the fastball. That homer from Jordan, that's one of the highest home runs I've seen in person. There was no doubt from the moment it left his bat. Here's the 1-2. Kaufman fouls it away again. And if you're Johnson City, now you're thinking, okay, we've got to make up 11 runs. Or actually, well, okay. The Doughboys technically need 2, assuming the score stays as it is, which is a big assumption given how the Flyboys have swung the bats so far. Johnson City needs to score at least twice for this game to go the distance. They've got 4 half innings to do it. 1-2 foul back. Kaufman doing a good job extending this plate appearance. This next pitch will be the 8th. He's fouled off 3 in a row. And the mercy rule is 10 after 7. The Flyboys right now leading by 11 runs. So if Johnson City can somehow hold Greenville off the board, then the Doughboys have 12 outs to score 2 runs. 1-2. Kaufman takes low and away. Dylan Jackson pointing his mitt at Jay Smith and saying, hey, I like that pitch. Smith has thrown 59 pitches as he begins his 4th inning of work. 40 of those have been strikes. So about 66%, which is on par for him. 2-2. Kaufman takes outside. Jackson tried to frame that one and bring it back to the corner, but it just missed the mark. And a good job here by Kaufman. He was behind 1-2, fouled off 3 in a row, and has worked the count back full. See if Jay Smith can reach back and put him away. Here's the pitch. Kaufman hits this one in the air to left. This will stay in the park. Grant Hunter, jogging a few steps to his right, makes the catch, and Kaufman is gone. Kaufman just dipping under that one a little bit. I'll tell you what, Johnson City's bat dog is a crowd favorite. It's a black Labrador, and he's been busy. Digging in next to Jackson Jones, the first baseman for the Doughboys. One of 2 strikeout victims for Jay Smith so far tonight. And Dylan Jackson jogging out to talk to Smith before the right-hander Jones steps in. It's a very pleasant evening here in Johnson City. We're less than an hour east of Greenville. Temperature now dropping into the high 70s. Low humidity, which I think is the best thing. We had a brutal heat wave come through a lot of the country over the last few days. But this condition, much more pleasant. So Jones stepping in with the leadoff man gone. albeit after a lengthy 10-pitch at-bat. Here's the pitch. Jones swings and misses. Strike one from Jace Smith. And although I never pitched anywhere close to this level, I know it's freeing for a pitcher when your offense is firing on all cylinders. And you can just go out there and do what you do best. The 0-1 misses low. And this is where it kind of sounds like a cliche, but pitching coaches preach it. Solo homers don't beat you, especially when you're leading by 11. The 1-1, Jones fouls it away. So if you're Smith, you're thinking, all right, I can attack the strike zone very freely. Obviously, you got to be smart about it still. But he knows that he can pitch much more freely than if this were, say, a 2-run game. Here's the 1-2 to Jones. Fouled away sharply down the right field side. Off the brick facing of one of the buildings down there. There's a lot of green here in Johnson City. The outfield wall is solid green. The buildings around the ballpark are mostly green as well. And a lot of trees behind the center field wall as well. Another 1-2. Jones swings and misses. He's gone on the fastball. Third strikeout for Jace Smith. He's gotten Jones twice. And now the batter, Ryan Jones, the catcher. Ryan Jones' walk-up song is Go Flex by Post Malone. That album came out nearly a decade ago now, which makes me feel really old. That was Post Malone's breakthrough album as Jones fouls off the first pitch. Stoney was the title. Other songs on that record, Congratulations, White Iverson. A couple of songs that did numbers on the radio and in streaming as well. 0-1. Ryan Jones hits a sharp ground ball to the right side. That is through for a 2-out single. Ezra McNaughton took a couple steps to his right. Thought about cutting that one off and then kind of pulled up. He looked toward Jace Patton, the second baseman, thinking, are you going to get that? But that ball had eyes for right field. So now the batter, Willie Hurt. And Hurt digging in, tripled off the right center field wall his last time up. Flyboys pitching coach Jared Morton coming back out of the dugout to talk to Jace Smith. Mentioned that I saw Evan Kay going down to the right field bullpen a little bit ago. But this is just a meeting to discuss the plan of attack against Willie Hurt. Flyboys leading 12-1 here in the bottom of the fourth inning. The first of a 2-game set against the Johnson City Doughboys. And Johnson City entering tonight was just 2 games back of first place. That's where the Flyboys find themselves. Greenville at 11-6. Elsewhere around the Appy League, Bluefield up on Elizabethton 4-0. Kingsport up 5-0 over the Bristol State Liners in the bottom of the 6th. Bluefield and Elizabethton 4-0 Ridge Runners in the bottom of the 7th. Danville and Tri-State scoreless in the bottom of the 6th. And Burlington up 8-5, a high-scoring affair in Pulaski as the Sock Puppets lead the River Turtles. Here it's 12-1 after the mound meeting. Man at first is Ryan Jones following the 2-out single, and Willie Hurt the batter. The only extra base hit on the ledger for Johnson City so far. Here's the first pitch. Hurt hits this one weakly on the ground to second. Patton scoops it up cleanly, and the throw to first is in time to retire Hurt. Patton retiring Hurt, and Jace Smith works around the 2-out base hit. A base knock and a man left as we go to the 5th. It's all Greenville. 12-1 over Johnson City on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Flyboys in control, leading 12-1 at the end of the 4th inning. Headed to the 5th, it'll be Lane Akers, Dylan Jackson, and Jace Patton. 4, 5, and 6 in the Greenville order. Facing the right-handed reliever, Stephen Swee, still out there, working into his second full frame. First pitch to Akers, a breaking ball that misses outside. Swee allowed a 3-run homer to Micah Jordan back in the 4th. The Flyboys have scored multiple runs in every inning. 1-0. Akers takes low, ball 2. That one also just a tick outside off the plate. But for Greenville, this has been its most complete offensive start to any game so far this year. Akers takes away for ball 3. And hopefully It's not one of those situations, knock on wood, where the Flyboys score all of their runs in the series today and then go empty-handed tomorrow. 3-0. Akers takes outside. That's a good start to the fifth for Greenville. Akers has walked for the second time. Or for the third time, I should say.
He doesn't have an at-bat.
Akers with no official at-bats on the ledger yet. 3 walks and a sacrifice fly. I wonder what the record is in Major League Baseball for most plate appearances in a game without an official at-bat. Kind of an obscure record. See what we can find later on. Here's Dylan Jackson. First pitch. A fastball missing outside, or on the outside corner for a strike. I think because we're offset, it's harder to tell east-west. That one looked way outside, but it was actually just on the plate. So 0-1 the count on Jackson. Akers off of first. And the pitch. Jackson takes in the dirt. It deflects away from the catcher, Jones, and that's a wild pitch, moving Akers to second. And obviously the Flyboys' bats have done most of the damage here tonight. 12 runs on 10 hits. But Johnson City has not done itself any favors. A couple of defensive miscues, a balk moving a man to third, a couple wild pitches as well, putting runners in scoring position. 1-1 to Jackson. This ball is stung to center field. Pridgen, though, has a beat on it and makes the catch. A little bit unlucky there for Dylan Jackson as he lines out to center. And the batter now, Jace Patton. Patton is hitless in 3 trips, 0 for 3. Reached on an error his first time up, and he's grounded out each of the last 2 times. Patton stepping to the plate, returning to the lineup tonight after a few days without seeing any action. A man in scoring position for him, Lane Akers. Here's the pitch. Patton takes outside. And for the Flyboys, they did not take batting practice on the field here before the game. We only got here, I'd say, about an hour and 15 minutes before first pitch. Here's the 1-0. Patton takes well outside. Jones leaping out of his crouch and reaching to his backhand to grab that one. But sometimes when you just get off the bus and start playing, that's when you're at your best. That's been the case for Greenville here tonight. 2-0 on Patton with an RBI opportunity here. And the pitch from Swee. Patton takes just outside. The count now 3-0. That one a bit further off the plate away. That one outside of what some people call the shadow zone. The count 3-0. With first base open here, the pitch. And Patton takes low and in, ball 4. So it's Swee's second walk of the outing. Both of them here in this inning. With one away, men at first and second, the batter is Reed Hare. And Hare has also had a good night. Really, pretty much everyone in the Flyboys order is swinging it well. Reed Hare, 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored. And if you're the Flyboys, if you can hold on and wrap this one up, then you're thinking, okay, Ezra McNaughton is the easy pick for player of the game. But you could have 2 or 3 other guys in the running as well. Here's the pitch to Hare. Swinging a pop-up behind third base. Ranging toward foul territory is Kaufman. And the third baseman makes the catch. That ball just started to fade back towards fair territory. But Kaufman read it well. So Hare pops out in foul ground. And with 2 away, men at first and second, the batter is Cameron Kim. The Flyboys have not been held scoreless in any inning so far tonight. Cameron Kim will have to reach to keep that streak alive. Greenville leading 12-1 here in the top of the 5th. First and second, 2 away. Stephen Swee looking to give the Johnson City pitching staff something to write home about. Kim takes low and away for ball 1. And I guess the good thing if you're the Doughboys is when we start things tomorrow, none of these runs for the Flyboys today count. So you think, okay, yeah, we got walloped here tonight. When we come back tomorrow, it's a clean slate. Here's the 1-0. Kim takes a breaking ball, missing just inside. That did not miss the plate by much. Swee wanted the high inside corner there. And again, you talk about those hanging breaking balls. Now, the pitch that Micah Jordan hit for a 3-run homer was a fastball that was on the high inside corner. But when it comes to those elevated pitches, if the hitter is looking for that, and we've seen Johnson City pitchers miss up there a few times, if the hitter starts looking for that, then they start their hands early. That's when it's trouble. That's how Micah Jordan got that 3-run homer way out of here to straightaway left. 2-0 on Kim after back-to-back breaking pitches. And here it comes. High and outside with the fastball for ball 3. The Flyboys have loaded the bases in 3 out of 4 innings. 4 full innings, I should say, tonight. Looking to make it 4 of 5. Cam will probably be taking on 3-0. Here it comes. He indeed takes a fastball at the top of the zone for a strike. Kim had started to put his bat down. That one right at the top of the strike zone. Still a hitter's count, though, 3-1. Patton at first, Lane Akers at second. Both of them were walked by Stephen Swee. 40 pitches, just 17 strikes for him. Here's the 3-1. Kim drives this one to left center field. This ball is well hit, going back at the wall, and that ball is gone. The third Flyboys homer of the night. It's the second of the season for Cameron Kim. The last 2 have both been 3-run shots. And Greenville now leads 15-1 here in the 5th. That was a middle pitch. An 85-mile-an-hour fastball right down Main Street, and Cameron Kim got all of it. A 3-run blast to left center field, and Greenville now leads by 14 runs. This is a barrage by the Flyboys here tonight. Now digging in, Grant Hunter. Stephen Swee has given up 2 homers in 2 innings. First pitch, Hunter takes a strike. And we've seen a lot of 3-ball counts by Johnson City pitchers. Anytime you're missing your spots that much, you're setting yourself up, I'm not going to say for failure. 0-1. Hunter takes low and away. But you're setting yourself up in a very difficult situation because the hitter can start keying in on what they want rather than having to hit your best stuff. Here's the 1-1. Hunter takes well outside. And again, there's never a good time to throw an 85 mile per hour fastball right down the middle. But on a 3-1 count with 2 men on, that's probably one of the worst times to throw that pitch. 2-1. Hunter gets hit again. He's been hit by a pitch in each of the last 2 innings. So Grant Hunter has reached all 4 times. And we will have a pitching change here before Micah Jordan comes to the plate. He homered off Stephen Swee the last time these 2 men faced off. Johnson City manager Dave Anderson saying, man, you know what? We've seen enough. So a left-hander coming on out of the pen before Micah Jordan steps to the plate. And we will see what he has in store on the other side of this break. The Flyboys leading 15-1 in the top of the 5th with 2 down here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Charlie Maw, a southpaw, on out of the bullpen for Johnson City. He'll face Micah Jordan here with a man at first. That runner is the responsibility of Stephen Swee. Maw out of Penn State, a Pittsburgh native. Micah Jordan homered his last time up. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and Maw balked. So Hunter gets second base. That is the second balk by a Johnson City pitcher in less than 5 innings. So now moving up to second is Hunter. And the first pitch to Jordan. This ball's lined to right field. Majette going back, makes the catch just shy of the warning track to end the inning. So Maw retires Micah Jordan, but the Flyboys score 3 more times on the homer from Cameron Kim. And we are at the halfway mark. The Flyboys in mercy rule territory here, leading by 14 runs over Johnson City as we go to the bottom of the 5th. New pitcher for the Flyboys as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Evan Kay comes out of the bullpen to replace Jace Smith. A solid start for Smith, allowing just 1 run in 4 innings. Worked around 5 hits, walked a pair, and struck out 3. Evan Kay on for his 7th appearance of the season, second to only Braxton Lewis in that department. He's allowed just 1 run in 8 2/3 innings. He'll face the upper third of this Johnson City lineup. The right-hander delivers low and outside to Logan Fife, the Johnson City second baseman. 2 for 2, a pair of singles for him so far. Had an RBI in the 3rd. 1-0. Fife takes outside. He'll be followed by Logan Dunn and Paris Pridgen. And now if you're Johnson City, you're down to your final 9 outs, needing at least 5 runs to keep this game going. And the next one fouled back. The count 2-1 on Logan Fife. It's a 10-run mercy rule after 7 here in the Appy League. That applies on games played on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. This is a Thursday. So Evan Kay looking to tick away a few of the final 9 outs that the Flyboys need to sew this one up. Dylan Jackson asks for time at home plate and goes out to talk to Evan Kay. The sun has all but set here in East Tennessee as we approach the 9 o'clock hour. Conference on the mound concluding very quickly. And my scorebook is getting harder to read. We're outside, and there are no lights to help us in the stands. Thankfully, there are some to help the players. I think that's the bigger concern. 2-1. This one is roped to straightaway center. Micah Jordan going back. A long run, and he makes the catch in the deep left center field gap. That ball was hooking away from him. But Micah Jordan, with fantastic speed, retires Logan Fife. When you think of speedy center fielders, I think the first one that should come to mind is Pete Crow Armstrong of the Chicago Cubs. And can I just say, as a Cubs fan, I'm really glad he's on our team and not somebody else's. Here's Logan Dunn. He's also reached both times. First pitch from Kay. Left-handed batter hits a soft liner. Tyler Inge knocks it down, but can't really do much else. That ball was fading toward Inge, basically directly behind second base. Inge was sprinting over to cut it off. And really, I don't think there was anything he could have done. So that's an infield hit for Logan Dunn. The batter now, Paris Pridgen, the center fielder. Dunn at first base. Flyboys leading 15-1 here in the home half of the 5th. Dunn a short lead over at first. The pitch. Pridgen hits a chopper to the left side. Kim waits on it to second for 1. On to first. Not in time and not dug out cleanly by McNaughton. But it's a 5-4 fielder's choice that retires Logan Dunn as he and Pridgen trade places there. And now the batter with 2 away, Jose Fernandez. The Flyboys have wanted no part of him so far tonight. Both of Jace Smith's walks were issued to Jose Fernandez. We'll see whether or not Evan Kay tries to pitch around him here. Here's the pitch. Fernandez takes high. And if you're the Flyboys, I think you've got the mercy rule in the back of your mind. So if Fernandez can get one into the gap, that would obviously hamper those plans a little bit. 1-0. Fernandez, a big swing and a miss. Fanned on the 84-mile-per-hour offering there from Evan Kay. That one on the outer part of the plate. Looked like maybe Fernandez was trying to pull that one a little bit. Pridgen has good speed at first, but with his team down by 14, I don't know that he's going to run. Fernandez takes low and away. The count now 2-1. Pridgen 7 for 8 stealing bases this season. But again, it's a long road back for Johnson City. Kay is set. And the 2-1. Fernandez pops it foul into the screen. And the count 2-2. Kay had him out in front of an off-speed pitch that time. A lot of fans dressed as bleachers here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark. This place was a little bit more crowded at first pitch than it is now. And I think, given the score, that makes a bit of sense. Here's the 2-2. Fernandez strikes out swinging. Evan Kay strutting off the mound, pumping his fist as he retires the Johnson City cleanup man. A hit, a man left. Johnson City down to its final 6 outs. The Flyboys looking to add some insurance and wrap up this Mercy Rule win. They lead 15-1 as we go to the 6th on the Greenville Flyboys Baseball Network. The Greenville Flyboys leading the Johnson City Doughboys 15-1. No, you don't have to adjust your radio dial. That is the score. As we begin the top of the 6th, Tyler Inge, Ezra McNaughton, and Lane Akers facing the lefty Charlie Mao. First pitch to Inge, misses well outside. Sadly for Greenville, the only batter to record 5 plate appearances in 5 innings was Micah Jordan. Inge having to settle for his 5th in 6 innings. 1-0. This ball's popped up. Foul territory, first base side. Jones going out. Majette coming in. And the first baseman, Jackson Jones, makes a fine running catch. Basically, he turned around and ran straight back along the right field foul line, making that catch almost halfway between the infield dirt and the warning track. That is a great catch by the first baseman. So now Ezra McNaughton stepping in. He's had a phenomenal day so far. 2 for 3, a double, a homer, and 5 runs batted in. Facing a lefty for the first time tonight. Mao comes home. McNaughton takes a high strike. Looked like a slider there. That pitch was very high. It's pretty short to the right field foul pole, only 315. So if Mao tries to go up there again, I wonder if McNaughton's going to try to tomahawk it out of here. Here's the pitch. Over the head of McNaughton there. And now the count 1-1. McNaughton having to duck the breaking ball that time. So Mao looking in. The Flyboys have scored at least 2 in every inning tonight. McNaughton takes a fastball for a strike. That one on the outside corner about knee high. And the one thing I've noticed about TVA Credit Union Ballpark here in Johnson City is that the baseball carries so well here. McNaughton takes a wipeout slider low and outside. It carries so well. Everything seems to fly. And, I mean, it's not like we're at altitude. There are mountains, of course, in this part of the country, but the altitude here is very similar, if not the same, as in Greenville. The 2-2. McNaughton pops it up. Third base side. The catcher, Jackson, giving it a look. Or the catcher, Jones, I should say, gives it a look, but that ball's into the seats. So the count remaining 2-2 on Ezra McNaughton. Lane Akers is on deck for Greenville. And if McNaughton can put a charge into another one, this will be an all-time performance by the Flyboys slugger. Mao is ready. He always goes from the stretch. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. McNaughton spins around in frustration there. That is the first strikeout recorded by any Johnson City pitcher here tonight. McNaughton goes down swinging on the fastball. We are in the 6th inning, and no Flyboys hitter had struck out until Ezra McNaughton. That was the Flyboys' 29th at-bat of the night. Here's Akers taking well outside. The breaking ball popping out of Mao's hand just a tick early. That is one of the most remarkable things I've seen from an offense. Not striking out until the 6th inning when you've recorded nearly 30 at-bats. Here's the 1-0. Akers takes outside. So 2-0 on Akers. An open stance in the right-handed batter's box. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Mao got him whiffing there. You look at the individual streaks for the most consecutive plate appearances without a strikeout. One that comes to mind is Luis Arise, as Akers takes a strike. The count 2-2. Luis Arise last season went 141 plate appearances without a strikeout, which was the most since Juan Pierre did it 147 consecutive times in 2004. Tony Gwynn once went 170 plate appearances with no strikeouts. Akers takes upstairs, and the count runs full here with 2 away. Charlie Mao looking to hold the Flyboys scoreless for the first time tonight. See what Akers can do about it. He's got home run power. Here's the 3-2. Akers takes outside for ball 4. That pitch was off the plate away, probably by about maybe 8 inches. But 3 Johnson City infielders started walking towards the dugout there. So a 2-out walk brings Dylan Jackson to the plate, 1 for 4. With an RBI single he hit back in the 3rd inning. Akers leading off first. The first baseman, Jones, shadowing him but not holding him on. The pitch. Jackson takes upstairs. Greenville leading 15-1 here in the top of the 6th. The mercy rule is in effect. The Flyboys need 6 more outs before Johnson City scores 5 times to wrap this one up in 7. Here's the 1-0. Jackson again takes high, ball 2. And this has also been a side of Greenville's offense that we haven't seen all that much. Though the Flyboys will lead the Appy League in homers after tonight. The 2-0. Jackson takes inside, brushed off the plate. Greenville has 3 homers, 1 from McNaughton, 1 from Micah Jordan, and 1 from Cameron Kim. The Flyboys will tie Bluefield if everything stays as it is at the top of the Appy League standings in homers. 3-0 misses outside. So back-to-back walks issued by Charlie Mao. And now the batter digging in, Jace Patton. The only Flyboys batter besides Lane Akers without a hit today. But Lane Akers has walked 4 times and also recorded a sacrifice fly. So that streak for Lane Akers now. The base runner at second, 5 plate appearances without an official at-bat. That's got to be a record. First pitch to Patton, misses low and in. It's kind of an obscure stat. So this is a good one. 1-0 on Patton. Here it comes. Fastball misses up and away. It's kind of something obscure to look up, but the record for most plate appearances in a single game without an at-bat, as Patton takes a 2-0 strike. Jimmy Fox did it in 1938. He walked 6 times in a single game. Lane Akers has walked 4 times and recorded a sacrifice fly. 2-1 in the dirt. Blocked there by Jones. The count 3-1. So if somehow Lane Akers can step to the plate in the 7th and record a sacrifice fly, a hit by pitch, a walk, he would tie a major league record with 6 plate appearances without recording an at-bat. 3-1. Patton takes outside. 3 straight 2-out walks, and the Flyboys have the bases loaded once again. That should bring Johnson City pitching coach Reed Casey out of the dugout. I would be very surprised if it doesn't. Jones, the catcher, going out to talk to Charlie Mao. And the batter digging in now, Reed Hare. A double and a run scored. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Hare, a left-handed batter, facing the southpaw Charlie Mao for the first time. Mao came on, got the final out of the 5th inning. So Hare stepping in. Bases loaded for him. The Flyboys already leading by 14 runs. And here's the pitch. Hare takes up and in. Had to duck that fastball. That was headed straight for his head. So the count 1-0 on Reed Hare. Looking to drive one into the night sky here in Johnson City. Here's the 1-0. Hare takes outside. And Mao has seemingly just lost the strike zone here. He's now up to 26 pitches, having thrown just 9 strikes. Here's the 2-0. Hare swings and misses. You could tell he wanted to hold up. That was a high inside fastball. But he hacked at it. Looking toward the heavens, a little bit frustrated with himself. The count 2-1. Mao sets, and the pitch. Hare takes a strike. Took something off of that one. And the count now 2-2. Hare asks for time at home plate. He'll readjust his batting gloves. Akers at third, Dylan Jackson at second, and Jace Patton at first. All three have walked. 2-2 on Hare as Mao looks to strand the bases loaded. And the pitch. Hare fouls it straight back. I think I could have caught that one. It's one of those where you see a lot of fans on TV flinching when a foul ball is hit into the screen. I feel like if I was on TV, I wouldn't flinch. I know it's a reflex, but I don't know. I feel like that'd be kind of embarrassing. And now time was called by the field umpire momentarily. I'm not sure why. But the count's still 2-2 on Reed Hare. And Mao deals. Hare hits a liner up the middle into left center field, a base hit. Akers scores. Jackson will score. Patton getting the stop sign at third base. It's a 2-run double for Reed Hare, his second 2-base hit in the last 3 innings. And the Flyboys lead 17-1 here in the top of the 6th. Reed Hare now with 3 RBIs in his last 2 games. The batter now, Cameron Kim. And that brings Johnson City manager Dave Anderson out of the dugout once again. Another new pitcher coming in. Flyboys looking like they will wrap this one up in mercy rule fashion. Charlie Mao yelling something into his glove as he walks off the mound. He's frustrated, as is Johnson City's entire pitching staff. Greenville up 17-1, coming back on the other side of this pitching change here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Trey Spear coming on out of the bullpen in a tough spot, although Johnson City's been in more tough spots than easy spots here tonight. Greenville leading 17-1 with 2 away in the top of the 6th. The bases loaded for Cameron Kim, who homered to left center his last time up. Right on right. Here's the pitch from Spear. Cameron Kim takes a strike. That was a fastball right on the low inside corner. Spear's going to need a couple more of those. He has not had a good start to the season. This is his 5th appearance. He's recorded 3 outs and allowed 12 runs. Here's the 0-1. Kim takes low and outside. Spear has allowed 12 runs on 5 hits, 10 walks, and no strikeouts. So Kim, more than likely, will put the ball in play. Here's the 1-1. Way high, it gets to the backstop. That fastball sailed on Spear there. So after the first pitch strike, Kim watches the next 2. Spear, a native of Stillwater, Oklahoma, attends Austin Peay. In 2024 at Austin Peay, he appeared in 3 games and did not record an out while giving up 5 runs, which means his ERA was technically infinite. Kim takes outside, the count 3-1. And for some pitchers, they've got the stuff, but they don't have the command. So your thought process is you put them in low leverage situations. The pressure is basically 0 here. With Johnson City down by 16. You're thinking maybe they'll figure it out. Kim hits this one on the ground to short. Up with it is Hurt across the diamond, a low throw, dug out by the first baseman Jones, and the side is retired. So Kim does not have 2 homers and 7 RBIs in 2 innings, but the Flyboys add a pair on the 2-run double off the bat of Reed Hare. They need 6 outs to seal the Mercy Rule win, leading 17-1 on the Greenville Flyboys Baseball Network. A couple defensive changes as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning for the Flyboys, which given the 17-1 scoreline in favor of Greenville, you understand. Looking at my scorebook to make sure we've got it all squared away here. So for the Flyboys, as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning, Evan Kay will face Trey Majette, Camden Kaufman, and Jackson Jones. Right on left, first pitch popped up. On the infield behind home plate, the catcher Dylan Jackson gives it a look. Jackson cannot make the catch. That ball faded back towards the screen. So the count now is 0-1. So Reed Hare moves from right field to center field. Micah Jordan exits the game. TJ Adams enters the game in right field. Peyton Miller enters the game at second base. Jace Patton moves from second base to shortstop, and Tyler Inge exits the game. The 0-1. A fastball for a strike from Evan Kay, the count 0-2. So Flyboys manager Jack Wilson looking to get TJ Adams and Peyton Miller both an at-bat in the 7th. Their spots in the lineup are due up. 0-2, grounded sharply down the third base line. That ball is just foul. The Flyboys leading by 16 runs. Evan Kay likely looking to record the final 6 outs of this one and seal the Mercy Rule victory. This is one of the most complete offensive performances I have seen at any level of baseball. 0-2. Majette pops it up again on the infield. Another chance for Jackson. He's got a better read on this one, and he makes the catch. On the third base side, just beyond the home plate circle to retire Majette. The batter now, Camden Kaufman. Kaufman 0 for 2 tonight with a pair of flyouts. There is a very stark difference between the two sides of the scorecard here. Johnson City working its way through the order for the 3rd time. Greenville has already finished nearly 5 full trips through the lineup as Kaufman takes a first pitch strike. I might have to frame this one. Here's the 0-1. Kaufman hits this one on the ground to third. A chance for Cameron Kim at the hot corner, and he makes good on it. A strong throw across the diamond to retire Kaufman. 4 outs left for Johnson City. Here's Jackson Jones digging in. And this place here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark has cleared out quite a bit since first pitch, which for the Flyboys has to feel good. First pitch to Jones. Misses low from Evan Kay. Righty-righty matchup here. After the comeback came up just short for Greenville last night, the Flyboys did a great job coming out here today. A called strike from Kay, and the count is 1-1. The Flyboys did a great job of coming out and just not letting up from first pitch here tonight. A phenomenal performance. 1-1. Jones fouls it back. A phenomenal performance on both sides of the ball once again. Just 1 run for Johnson City. The Flyboys entering tonight had allowed the fewest runs per game in the Appy League at 4.2. Better than Burlington. 1-2. Jones takes low and away. Jackson says he likes the pitch. Now Burlington's team ERA of 4.06 is better. Flyboys at 4.38, but that will drop after tonight, assuming everything holds. 2-2. Jones takes outside. Kay missing with the fastball. But Greenville, the pitching staff is really rounding into form here. 3-2. Jones takes strike 3. A quick 1-2-3 inning for Evan Kay as he retires the side in order. And the Flyboys are 3 outs away from wrapping up a statement Mercy Rule win over Johnson City. We'll go to the 7th, see if they can add any more insurance here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. All Flyboys as we begin the 7th inning of this one. Grant Hunter digging in, facing Trey Spear, who stranded the bases loaded in the 6th. 9-1-2 due up for Greenville. Spear, the right-hander, working from the stretch. First pitch, Hunter takes a strike. The Flyboys' bats have been absolutely scorching hot here tonight. Right after the heat wave breaks across the nation. 0-1 on Hunter. He takes inside, maybe a little bit high. The Flyboys tonight, 17 runs on 12 hits. Johnson City just 1 run on 6 hits. Here's the 1-1 to Hunter. A breaking ball that catches the outside corner. That one was a little bit high from Spear, but he gets the call. I think the home plate umpire here tonight, Nate Grant, saying, yeah, the writing's on the wall. 1-2. Hunter swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt. From one Jones to the other, they secure the putout. Strikeout, 2-3. And that is the first out here in the 7th. Back to the top of the order, Micah Jordan will not hit for the 6th time in 7 innings. Instead, it's TJ Adams. He entered as a defensive replacement in the last half inning. He'll get his first plate appearance here tonight. Adams digging in out of the University of Arizona, a native of Mesa, where the Chicago Cubs play their spring training games. And here, he takes a first pitch breaking ball for a strike from Trey Spear. You wouldn't know the numbers for Spear are as bad as they are just by watching him pitch here tonight. And again, you look at those low leverage situations, sometimes that's just what a pitcher needs to get his confidence back. 0-1. Adams swings and misses. A good breaking ball there. And the count 0-2. Peyton Miller in the on-deck circle will get his first plate appearance of the game here in the 7th. The 0-2 to Adams. Fastball that bounces to the plate. Looked more like a bowling ball than a baseball there. The count 1-2 on Adams. We'll see if Spear goes back to the soft stuff here. The pitch. There is the breaking ball. It misses high. That one may be a changeup. The curveball. Elevated, though, a little bit too much. There was a time when I could recognize spin, but not from this far away. 2-2. Adams takes high. I remember when I was 14 years old, I went to the eye doctor, got a pair of glasses that made me nearsighted because that's what they thought was wrong with my eyes. First at bat, I wore them in a game. I hit a double into the left center field gap. I was thinking, holy cow, this is awesome. Adams takes high. That pitch gets to the backstop. And it's a 1-out walk issued by Trey Spear. The batter now Peyton Miller. Miller digging in for the first time tonight. Turns out it was not my eyes that were the problem. It's your brain that's the problem, said some doctor in Chicago. If you've ever heard of visual snow, basically it's like if you're watching an old analog television and it suddenly loses its signal, you see that static. A lollipop throw over to first. The first baseman, Jones, was not holding the runner on, and they called that a balk. That's just a mental mistake there by Trey Spear. That is the 3rd Johnson City balk of the night. Spear kind of awkwardly stepped off the rubber and threw over to first, a non-competitive throw. The first baseman, Jones, was playing his normal position, not holding the runner on. Man at second for Miller. He takes in the dirt. So visual snow was the reason I couldn't recognize spin. At least that's what I try to tell myself. But it's basically if you're looking at a television, an old one, with no input, you see the static. That was what I was seeing, and it wasn't the glasses that were going to fix it. I was like, I thought that was normal. Apparently it's not. Miller takes high. One day, maybe I'll participate in a study where a bunch of really smart doctors will round up people with visual snow and say, okay, we're going to run you through a series of tests and study your brain. I always thought that would be cool. 2-0. Miller takes high. It gets off the mitt of Jones. And Adams, perhaps in a gentleman's agreement there, does not move up to third. But if any eye doctors are listening who have found a cure for visual snow, hit my line. You can find me on Twitter at Nick Rodecap. NICKRODECAP, as in a plethora of runs that the Flyboys have scored here tonight. 17 to be exact. 3-0. Miller takes high, ball 4. And one thing I'm noticing from Spear, he started going with a heavier dose of the fastball, and his command has gone out the window. The breaking ball looked great, but now he's got to face Ezra McNaughton with men on first and second and one away. McNaughton has been held hitless since the third inning, but he got up to a very hot start. A homer and a double, 5 RBIs in the first 3 innings. He's been one of many offensive difference makers for the Flyboys here tonight. First pitch, McNaughton takes an inside strike. And who knows, maybe this is one of those situations where a broken clock is right twice a day and Spear retires McNaughton. But you definitely think advantage hitter here. Right on left, the 0-1. McNaughton takes way high. And the count now 1-1 on the Flyboys' first baseman, who will extend his lead in OPS atop the Appy League leaderboard. 1-1. Up and away again. Count now 2-1 after that first pitch strike. And at first and second, here's the pitch. Gets to the backstop again. The count 3-1. I was thinking the same thing. We heard the just a bit outside there from Bob Euchre. This is a Johnson City home game, and Johnson City is playing the field right now. That seems a little bit out of pocket to put your own guy on blast like that when you're already losing by 16 runs. Here's the 3-1. A strike. McNaughton thought it was ball 4. That was off the plate, high and inside. But perhaps a courtesy extended there from Nate Grant, the home plate umpire. Full count on McNaughton, 1 away. If it wasn't a 16-run game, the Flyboys would probably start the runners here. But they won't. 3-2. McNaughton checks his swing. He did not go around. That's ball 4. 3 straight walks. The bases are loaded for Lane Akers. I don't know that Johnson City has ever not been in the thick of it here tonight. I mean, this is one of the messiest scorecards I have ever seen. Akers hitting with the bases loaded. A grand slam puts the 20 spot on the board. First pitch, high for ball 1. Spear has thrown 26 pitches, just 9 strikes. Entering tonight, we talked about his command troubles. The walk rate for Spear, 90 walks per 9 innings. First pitch missed upstairs. The next one fouled back. Now, that's a very small sample size, obviously. Recorded just 1 out and had walked 10 entering tonight. I prefer to think of innings pitched as outs recorded. Every out, obviously, being a third of an inning. Here's the 1-1. Akers takes high. So when you see a starting pitcher goes 200 innings in a season, okay, he recorded 600 outs. That's a lot of outs. Here's the 2-1. Way high from Spear. That one, I think, was above the head of Lane Akers. The Flyboys DH. Akers standing at 6 foot even. I think that one was probably about maybe 6 feet 4 inches in the air. Or as NBA scouts would say, an undersized point guard. I guess undersized would be closer to 6'1", 6'2". Someone like Steph Curry, maybe. 3-1. Akers takes ball 4. And that'll force in a run. So Lane Akers has tied a major league record with 6 plate appearances in a game without recording an official at-bat. Akers tonight has walked 5 times and recorded a sacrifice fly. No official at-bat in 6 plate appearances. That matches a major league record set by Jimmy Fox in 1938. Dylan Jackson nearly gets hit in the numbers by that next pitch from Spear. And the count 1-0. And at some point, if you're Johnson City, you might think, okay, just put a position player in there. Have him pull the Kike Hernandez as Jackson takes high for ball 2. Have him pull a Kike Hernandez and just lob it to the plate and hope that the Flyboys get overeager and hit a weak ground ball somewhere. Flyboys now lead 18-1 after the bases loaded walk. 2-0 to the backstop again. Ball 3. Because you got to feel for Trey Spear at some point. Obviously, this game got away from Johnson City long before he entered. But as a pitcher, when you can't find the strike zone like this, it feels like you're on an island on the mound. And it's a tough spot to be in for anybody. 3-0 on Jackson. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. 5 straight walks for Spear. And at some point, I think you've got to do him the dignity of just pulling him. And indeed, that is what manager Dave Anderson will do. Flyboys now up 19-1. And the new pitcher, Odette, on the mound. The batter will be Jace Patton. 0 for 3 with a pair of walks and a run scored. Odette, a sidearm pitcher. I'm thinking in MLB, this would be a prime position player pitching situation. But honestly, I'm kind of surprised Johnson City hasn't gone that route. If I was a pitcher and I was being used when my team was losing 19-1 and about to get mercy ruled, I'd be kind of upset, especially if I'm Odette and I haven't given up a run yet. He inherits the bases loaded with only 1 away. Jace Patton is the 7th man to the plate in the inning. A strikeout began the frame, and then Trey Spear walked 5 in a row, including a pair with the bases loaded. So here's Patton digging in. Hitless so far. Flyboys looking perhaps for a 20 spot. Runs numbers 20, 21, and 22 are all on base. Patton, an awkward half swing at a pitch on the low inside corner, and that's strike 1. Odette, a funky arm slot. A true side armor from the right side. Here's the pitch. Patton takes low and away. And I always thought it was funny. There was a college pitcher I saw on social media who was asked very bluntly, why did you switch to, he was a submariner, not a side armor, as Patton takes strike 2. But he was asked, why did you switch to throwing submarine? And he said very bluntly, I didn't throw hard enough from a traditional arm slot. So you drop to that lower arm angle. 1-2. Patton takes in the dirt. It's a tough look for the hitter. I think it kind of tricks your brain a little bit because you're not expecting the ball to start that low. You think of guys in the major leagues like Tyler Rogers of the San Francisco Giants. His knuckles scrape the dirt when he pitches. Full count on Patton as the 2-2 misses outside. We saw Rogers, we as in my friends and I, saw Rogers pitching at Wrigley Field a couple months ago. And he delivered a scoreless inning. It's one of the funkiest deliveries you'll ever see. But it works for him, and that's all that matters. 3-2. Patton checks his swing. Strike 3 called. So Patton punched out. And the home plate umpire says that's on the pitch, not the swing. So if you're keeping score at home, that is the 3rd strikeout recorded by Johnson City pitching in 6 2/3 innings, where the Flyboys have recorded 33 at-bats. That pitch was a little far outside. They called it on the swing. That's what I thought, okay. The pitch to Hare, a chopper up the middle. This should end the inning. The shortstop hurt, goes the short way, and that retires the side. So the Flyboys cannot score 20 runs, unfortunately. And this will be one of the more muted 7th inning stretches I think you'll ever see. Emory Dawkins last pitched in extra innings. It was in the opening game of the series against Kingsport. That was back on the 24th, so just 2 days ago. Dawkins retired the side in order to seal the Flyboys' win. A little bit of a lower pressure situation here. This game will be official if Dawkins can record 3 outs before Johnson City scores at least 9 runs. And the Doughboys, having scored once through the first 6, the odds not in their favor. So digging in to lead things off is Ryan Jones, the Doughboys catcher. Flyboys will be right back out here tomorrow. Again, hopefully they didn't use up all their offense tonight. But the way they've been swinging it, it'd be hard-pressed to think that'll be the case. Jones fouls off the first pitch. Flyboys up 19-1 here in the bottom of the 7th. The mercy rule is in effect, so if Greenville gets 3 outs, the game is over, unless Johnson City scores 9 runs. The 0-1, popped foul down the first base side and well out of play. For Greenville, 19 runs on 12 hits, an error, and 12 left on base. They've recorded also 15 walks. So 29 base runners, because you also include the 2 hit by pitches that Grant Hunter was afflicted with. There are also a few errors in there, so the Flyboys have had over 30 base runners tonight. 1-2 on Jones. Swinging a foul back at home plate. He was out in front of a breaking ball there, but just got a piece. And I'm going to venture out on a limb, and I'll obviously fact-check myself, but I believe this is the most runs scored by any team in any game this season. And Jones strikes out on a pitch in the dirt. Fastball there from Dawkins. So he's gone. Johnson City down to its final 2 outs. Here's Willie Hurt. Right on left, the pitch from Dawkins. Right down Main Street for strike 1. Elsewhere around the Appy League, every other game is a little bit closer. 0-1 on Hurt. Here's the pitch. A breaking ball, missing low and in. Burlington leading Pulaski 9-5 in the bottom of the 7th. Tri-State and Danville suspended, I would assume, due to rain, scoreless in the top of the 7th. Tri-State knows a thing or two about rain delays. We had 2 in as many days up there. 1-1 on Hurt as Dawkins misses the mark. Bluefield shutting out Elizabethton 6-0. The Ridge Runners back to 500. 1-1, a strike from Dawkins. Kingsport shutting out Bristol 10-0 in 8 innings. So the Axemen now reach 11 wins. Bristol drops below 500. 1-2. Hurt hits it off himself in the batter's box. That one hit him on the shoe tops. So he'll take a second. But we'll take a look around the Appy League just to see. I want to see if anybody has scored more runs in a game this season. I don't think so. But it's always good to verify. Elizabethton scored 11 last Saturday. Tri-State scored 13 6 days ago. Elizabethton scored 15 a week ago. 1-2. Hurt takes low and in. Bluefield scored 13 back on Tuesday the 17th. So we've seen a few run totals in the teens as Hurt strikes out swinging there on the fastball from Dawkins. Johnson City down to its final out here. And the batter, Logan Fife. But as we look across the Appy League, the closest any team has gotten, Burlington beat Johnson City right here at TVA Credit Union Ballpark, 16-6 on Tuesday, June 10th. So Burlington hung 16 on the Doughboys. 0-1, a check swing on the pitch in the dirt. Fife went around. The count is 0-2. So the Flyboys are 1 strike away from wrapping up this win, in which they score more runs than any other team in the Appy League this season. The 0-2. Fife fouls it away toward the Flyboys' first base dugout. That one coming off the bat apparently at 109 miles an hour. Unfortunately for Fife, he hit it straight into the ground, and I don't know that that was off the bat at 109. Dawkins will try the 0-2 one more time. Swinging a fly ball to shallow left. Long run for Hunter coming in. Jace Patton, the shortstop, goes out, makes the catch, and that's the ball game. The Flyboys score more runs in a single game than any other team in the Appy League this season as they trounce the Johnson City Doughboys. Your final tonight, 19-1 in favor of Greenville. The Flyboys now 12-6 on the season. They will extend their lead at the top of the Appy League West. The Doughboys falling to 9-9. They dip to 500. We'll be right back here at 6:45 tomorrow as Greenville looks for the sweep before heading to Pulaski this weekend. But this one, a very complete, prolific offensive performance by Greenville. The Flyboys with over 30 base runners on the night. Headlined, of course, by the slugger, Ezra McNaughton, who had 5 RBIs, a homer and a double in the first 3 innings of the game. Micah Jordan hit a 3-run homer. Cameron Kim hit a 3-run homer. Grant Hunter had an RBI double, and you just keep going down the list. Reed Hare had 2 doubles and 2 runs driven in. Lane Akers tied a major league record, 6 plate appearances without recording an at-bat. I don't know if we'll ever see that again, much less in 7 innings. Tyler Inge scored 3 runs. I mean, the offensive performance by the Flyboys tonight. Hopefully, they can top it at some point, but if not, this is a great one to hang your hat on. We'll see if they can continue the momentum tomorrow. But from TVA Credit Union Ballpark in Johnson City, Tennessee, your final here tonight. The Greenville Flyboys 19, the Doughboys 1. I'm Nick Rodecap. You've been listening to Greenville Flyboys Baseball right here on the Flyboys Baseball Network. Have a great rest of your Thursday night.